The event was divided into two sessions. Chairman on the occasion and former President Goodluck Jonathan, who was represented by Senator Eghobamien and later spoke through Zoom, commended children of late Sir Alfred Eghobamien SAN, whom he said have taken after their father by contributing immensely to the improvement of the society.
I am told the children and family that I delivered this opening remark because they were impressed by my decision to hand over power to my successor in a very peaceful manner. A decision, they said, was acting with a rare and uncommon attitude of their late father.
Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Sokoto, Bishop Mathew Kukah, who was a keynote speaker, spoke on the topic Nigerian Leadership Vacuum. Too many activists, very few reformers.
If we don't write our own history, whether it's family history, whether it's community history, whether it's national history, if we do not write our own histories, others will write it for us. They will write it either by totally ignoring us or paying attention to things that are probably not important to us. So I really want to commend Osaro and his siblings for putting this together to remember their father.
The father of the day and Osaro of Benin, an honorary Romanian consul to Edo and Delta states, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion, commended children of late Sir Alfred Eghobamien for honoring their father. The Esama charged them to sustain the legacy as it is customary in the African tradition and customs.
So, but what the children have done, I spent all day with them. May God bless.
There were also interactive sessions where participants bare their minds on the exemplary leadership qualities of late Sir Alfred Eghobamien SAN. Edo State Deputy Governor Comrade Philip Shaibu described the event as apt.
Listening to the keynote speaker, you agree with me that there are a lot of all issues that we need to resolve for leadership.
The achievement of their father, I'm sure they will do more than that. They will do more than what the father achieved. And I pray for them to achieve more because they have started.
The second session with the theme, This House is Not for Sale, featured discussion on securing assets, debt capital, and creating wealth for tomorrow's unborn. Former President of the Customary Court of Appeal, Edo State, Justice Joseph Olubor, handled the topic, while founder, Proshare Nigeria Limited, also participated online.
From the reforms required in Edo State, there is a need to review the legal regulatory process entirely. The mindset in doing so is the one that recognizes that the issues concerning this house is not for sale phenomenon. It's about things to do with inheritance, the tax that goes along with it, the issues around trust and wills, which people have been averse to, the issues about insurance, but the most important thing about capital formation. At some stage, you would have to bring down the language to the common man's language to understand that the reasons why you fight over those properties is because you do not know any better. It is the responsibility of the state to do so. And these are some of the recommendations from the research work done by P&G. One is that beyond the GIS, we can actually focus on tackling all properties. That means you go ahead and introduce and encourage people to start bringing their documents for verification. This will do one or two things. Where you have those properties under litigation, and I believe there are examples that can be explored here, you have the opportunity of saying that those under litigation can be domiciled as a trust fund, that whoever succeeds in the litigation is therefore entitled to the fund. This does two things for you. One, that document moves away from being a dead capital, it is released, and it is taken out of the whole mix. But the second most important thing about it is that the state will go ahead to insure those titles as well. So that means the financiers of those states who will use it either for credit, for collateral, or for mortgage purposes are able to do so without unnecessary risk, which encourages new capital. What it does is it will move the whole state out. But the most important thing it will do is to create the necessary jobs and engagement of the middle Edo. What do I call the middle Edo? Your plumbers, your carpenters, your electricians, and the painters, the brick makers. That just creates a whole new economic activity on its own. It's like you just struck gold. A few other recommendations that may be helpful. The delay in foreclosure By purposes of work, my company also runs an AMP for AMCO. And I can understand the process of that foreclosure is so cumbersome and unnecessary that it is a disincentive for capital to move towards any of those things. So it is important that we use the example of Lagos State, whereby you create a dedicated court to deal on such matters quickly, and it will be done if you have the political will to go ahead and push it through, where there's an economic imperative for it to be done. The second is to consider, within limits, a mortgage law that will help resolve the dispute between the banker and the borrower by the use of arbitration in the first instance. Another one is the issue of consent. In Lagos State, there are about 4 to 6 persons who are able to sign consent, which means that the process of waiting for one man to sign a consent must be recalibrated. And there are ways in which you can do it. You can use it in terms of amounts, value, locations, or whatever but you must break down that system. Hopefully, if you're really doing the computerization, therefore, you are able to therefore assign. That makes it easier, because this issue of land registry is not a one-side thing. It must be linked to the whole value system, including the tax derivable thereon. And that is very important. Now, there is a major problem that often is clear. When you have a property in which there are about 6 or 7 people in there, and then, for example, we want to do enforcement action, we then go ahead and lock the building. And there are about 8 flats in that building. There are so much issues around this world that the laws we had then did not anticipate this kind of explosion in terms of real estate property and development. And it becomes such a complex issue to determine legal rights and so on. And this becomes an issue. And I'm sure that Edo State, in thinking through all these processes, is able to come about it.
The topic was timely, while children of late Sir Alfred Eghobamien SAN expressed satisfaction on the success of the event.
Attitude and reckless behavior of some junior ones within the family, encouraged by the support they get from behind, is making arrangement to sell the father's house, and nobody is questioning him. That is not right.
The Igiogbe under Benin native law and custom is a term used by the Beninese to put the eldest son into the proper position of his father. That is, he takes responsibilities of the growing children as at the time the father dies.
We thought we'll share some of the very good qualities of my father with the generality of the public.
The seed my dad planted in many of us, the good values, we are going to try and see how we can leverage on that to utilize that to form great leaders for the future.
Late Sir Alfred Eghobamien SAN was a popular legal luminary. According to the family, Sir Alfred Eghobamien Leadership Series will be held annually. Son of the deceased FCA Eghobamien also used the occasion to celebrate his 50th